Hi, my name is Tim. I am a creative executive at a Fortune 100 company, and I do not have a bachelor's degree. Today, we are going to be talking about something called Tear the Paper Ceiling, and I would like to discuss with you transforming hiring and diversifying talent. I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am. We're going to talk about what a star means. We're going to talk about stats from today's world of stars, why this is important, what the paper ceiling is, a little bit about my story in depth, and some good takeaways. I myself am what you would call a star, which means I'm skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. For example, I was once a lobby attendant in a Manhattan Midtown building. This required me to have elevator operator skills as well, something that I knew nothing about at the time, but just through that one summer job alone, I learned things like interpersonal relationship management skills, strategic problem solving, and how to deliver the best direction in short, easy to digest nuggets of information. I started my career with 4 part-time jobs that included ABC Sports, CBS Sports, being a marketing volunteer for a not-for-profit organization, and a substitute teacher. In all of these things, I gained skills that I still use with me to this very day. Substitute teaching is about as good of a place where you can pick up the skill of people management. I learned Marketing 101 with some real-world experience while working with a not-for-profit, aggregating and organizing statistical information with my part-time job with ABC Sports, and outcome-centric mentality, which I'll touch on a little later, with my work with CBS Sports. And again, all of these skills are things that I still use to this very day in my executive role at the Fortune 100 company. So why am I telling you this story? I want to be able to help other stars be really comfortable with who they are and what they bring to the table. And I would like to use my story to help influence recruiting and hiring practices across America. This goes for any size business that may look to attract the best candidates and hire the right people, then both retain and grow their staff. What it means to be a star. Let's start there. Stars are workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. Stars are over 50% of the workforce. They have developed valuable skills through alternative routes like military service, community college, training programs, in some cases partial college completion, but most commonly, like myself, on-the-job experience. What do stars bring to the table, and what does this mean to the workforce? Stars make up more than half of the workforce at over 70 million strong. They are all around us and can be found in every sector of the workforce. Stars also reflect our nation's racial and cultural diversity. 62% of black workers are stars. 54% of Hispanic workers are stars. 51% of white workers are stars. And 62% of veteran workers are stars. There are so many stars like us, but there's a huge opportunity gap. Over the last 30 years, the wage gap between stars and workers with bachelor's degrees has doubled. Adjusted for inflation, stars now earn less than they did on average in 1976. This fact is nuts and something I want to read to make sure that I get it right. According to a 2022 study by Opportunity at Work, it takes more than 30 years on the job for stars to earn the same wage that college graduates earn on day one of their careers, even though millions of stars have demonstrated skills for roles with at least 50% higher salaries than their current jobs. So wait, what? Yes, so we have all of these people with different perspectives who have earned valuable skills that could help solve real business problems, literally skilled through alternative routes, making us all unique in our own way. Yet corporate America is not making the most of this opportunity. They're not making the most of what stars bring to the table, and we're keeping them from bringing everything that they have to the table, which is not helping us shine as bright as we could. That's a huge miss. We need to tear the paper ceiling for us to collectively see how great our companies could and should be. So what is the paper ceiling? The paper ceiling is the invisible barrier that comes at every turn for workers without a bachelor's degree. This can show up in a lot of different ways. The application intakes that are screening for degrees, biased algorithms that rule us out before we even apply, lack of alumni networks in the workforce, stereotypes about why we do not have a degree in the first place, misperceptions as to why and what we are capable of, and those are just a few examples of what can hold stars back from opportunities. That is the paper ceiling. How did I become a star? I was never a great student, mostly C's, couldn't focus. I just was one of those kids that had a hard time paying attention in class. I snuck into a great university in Canada, then my dad got sick and I had to go home and miss some time at school to help with the family. Miraculously, my dad survived stage 4 melanoma. I went back to school, but I never finished. And then I lied about it and tried to outrun it. So, When I got home, very fortunate to be able to go back and live in my parents' basement, I got the following jobs, and here's what I learned from them. The people management skills that I learned as a substitute teacher, I like that picture, were unbelievable. If you can manage a classroom full of elementary school kids, get them to be on the same page with the work that needs to get done in any given day, and get them to behave well, then you can manage just about any team anywhere. The part-time job skills that I got from both ABC and CBS Sports. Extraordinary attention to detail, to be able to stand out from a crowd of people that have part-time jobs with them. Extraordinary attention to detail, especially in a live sports environment. I learned storytelling as well. Looking for highlights in other games and trying to tie them back to why it would matter in another halftime show. You gotta have a story and context as to why you want to show that highlight in the first place. And patience. I was willing to take any opportunity that either of those companies would give me, have zero expectations, and be ready to pivot that each job could be different from the last. And one of my absolute favorites, my time marketing with giving opportunities to others, the not-for-profit company that I mentioned earlier. I learned Marketing 101, basically how to get somebody's attention and get them to act on something that they saw. Desired outcomes. Desired outcomes. Desired outcomes. How could we...
Desired outcomes, desired outcomes, desired outcomes, desired outcomes, desired outcomes, desired outcomes.
I'm going to do this one all over again. Sorry, Sloan. Desired outcomes, being specific and intentional with the audience you're trying to reach and the KPIs you're trying to hit. We were basically throwing large parties to raise funds to help send kids from New York City to camps focused on arts and music. Knowing who we were talking to get to go to these parties was key so that we actually had metrics to measure and then we could learn from. Which brings me to the last one, marketing insights. How to measure success, learn, iterate, and have fun with marketing. This is why I think just about any job that anybody could have is something where you can pull and learn a skill from that can serve you long into your career. To further prove that point, let's talk about some of the old summer jobs that I had going way back when. It's so interesting to think about now how I learned skills from even being a caddy, knowing the rules of a game and how to help someone else as a result of what I knew of the game, the attention to detail, the relationship management between a caddy and the player, and how to read someone else's energy and react accordingly. If someone's not having a good round, you're going to want to walk and talk with them in a different way than somebody that is really happy and having a great round. I spent several years as a driving range boy. I learned process and efficiency relative to how quickly I could run a pick or get all the balls off of the driving range. Why all the details really matter. You cannot have somebody cut the grass on a huge driving range if there's a bunch of balls stuck in the long weeds. Not good for the lawnmower. Being a range boy for all those years also taught me how to manage expectations and try to get ahead of a very detail-oriented boss that I had, and how to grow my interpersonal skills in a demanding environment. Even my summers as being a lifeguard, obviously that helped me focus on what really matters in life. Why preparation is absolutely critical. How to manage a large team, that was my first real management experience outside of being a substitute teacher, where I was the head lifeguard after my first year as being a regular lifeguard. And because I was the head guard after only 1 year of being a lifeguard, I had to learn how to deal with a bit of jealousy in a role. It's that thing that pops up when you get the job that many of your coworkers had applied for. And then now that they may work for you, how do you regain their trust in a different way? And the last and probably most important thing that I learned during my time as a lifeguard is how to own a mistake. I once lost 250,000 gallons of water. Yes, you heard me right. I had the pump slightly misaligned one day and 250,000 gallons of water went back into the Long Island Sound. True story. And as I talked a bit about earlier, there was the elevator lobby attendant role. That was a learn by just start doing. It was basically a pop quiz of what's on what floor, directions to certain places, and is there a bathroom in the lobby? The answer was no. I tell you about these to help reinforce that there's something to learn and stick in your back pocket everywhere. And whether you have a degree or not, the most successful are the ones that are able to look at opportunity in this way. And so yeah, I lied about not having a degree. I thought I could outrun it. And in large part, you could say that it looks like I did, but I also don't know what didn't click. Let me tell you why I think that. I was told a long time ago it is really smart to try to go through at least one interview process every year to keep those skills at a solid level. Say I've averaged 2 applications per month over the course of my career. That would be probably 450 jobs that I've then applied to. 97% of those got no response or an immediate no thank you. potentially driven by the fact that my resume doesn't say that I have a bachelor's degree. 2% of those jobs got me a follow-up meeting or a generic correspondence that said I made it past the initial scan. 1% led to an offer. 0% of any of those jobs ever led to, hey, here's a job. Every job that I've gotten has been through a direct contact, knowing a hiring manager, and just going directly at the process. And if those are my stats, there are over 70 million stars out there. How often are stars with valuable in-demand skills, all with their own unique perspectives and stories too, how often are they being filtered out without any consideration? So, now that we know what a star is, why stars are so valuable to the workforce, why if you are a star you should be super proud of it, what the paper ceiling is, and why I personally am proud to say that I'm a star and what my own journey has been. I invite you to please come learn more at tearthepaperceiling.org. I am on a mission to help raise more awareness to this because I'm a star, I am proud of it, and I think there are far too many companies out there of all sizes that are missing out on a huge opportunity to have the right skilled workers that they can retain and grow for their own business purposes and because these people bring amazing things to the table. My name is Tim and it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you about this. Looking forward to coming back for episode 2.